In this video, we're going to take a look at Kayleigh Heckel to UConn. Yes, this video is about a week late, but when the news broke, I was in the process of moving, so sorry for the delay. In this video, we're going to take a look at how she's a bit of a different transfer than UConn normally takes, as well what she might add to UConn. Before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. As I mentioned in the opening, UConn generally takes upper class transfers trying to find that missing piece. It's very rare they'll take a sophomore. Geno says usually when he meets a kid, a potential transfer, the question that he asks them is, what's wrong with you? That's my first question whenever a kid wants to transfer to UConn. He said, I say, what's wrong with you? You're at a great place. You're starting. You're playing a lot of minutes. You seem to be really successful. So there's got to be something wrong with you. And then he says, if I like the answer, then I go forward. If I don't like their answer, then I say I'm not interested. Obviously, Heckel gave a good answer. Why did Heckel want to leave USC? I'm not sure. We'll ever find out the answer to that. There is speculation that it's related to Lindsey Gottlieb holding some accountable at practice, but not others in terms of arriving at practice and their practice habits. But again, pure speculation. Other speculation is that how the ball always ran through Juju and Kayleigh Auriemma, with Juju having a 32% usage rate and Kayleigh 27%. I wonder if UConn's playing style of sharing the ball, as they had a usage rate, Paige Bueckers of 28%, Sarah Strong 24%, and AZ Fudd 23%, if that was more attractive to Heckel than maybe going to somewhere like Notre Dame, where it might be the Hannah Hidalgo show and just looking on as she does her thing. Now, UConn does better than most in terms of finding kids that fit their program, and I think this one's pretty clear it'll be a good fit. Her high school coach from Long Island Lutheran, Christina Ratty, I think it is. I think that's how you pronounce the last name. She had some quotes saying regarding Heckel, she's respectful. She will do anything for her teammates. She's a team first, individual, second type of kid, which are rare these days. I don't worry about her finding a role there at all. And that's the coach talking about her going to UConn. I'm happy she found a home that will take care of her, but also push her and demand the most out of her abilities. That's a very important balance. I definitely think she's a culture fit at UConn. She's really a good kid, a home run of a kid. Heckel was rated the number 13 rated recruit coming out of high school. She played at Lutheran with two other highly rated recruits, Silas Swords, who was rated number 4, and Kate Cavall, who was rated number 5. Now in high school, her team went down to Mount Verde Academy in the high school national championship game in the semifinals her senior year. But if you watch highlights of that game, she's going against Jelani Cambridge and definitely holds her own. Heckel went 12 of 18 for 32 points, including going 3 for 4 from the three-point line. She only had 3 turnovers, and she had 7 assists in that game. Whenever they needed a play to be made, she was the one making it. And you can just see the way that she would slot in at UConn, just directing the ball and doing anything you need her to do, because she has a combination of being able to handle the ball and take pressure, as well as being able to shoot off the ball. In a lot of ways, her committing to UConn gives them the final piece. That was the one weak spot they might have. So this totally fills out their roster at 15. So they have ridiculous depth. And the question was, with Caitlin Chen and Paige Bueckers leaving, did they have enough ball handling? And before she committed there, they were going to go with KK Arnold and Khalees Fisher. And again, Heckel is just insurance. You think she would slide in that role of Nika Mule type or Caitlin Chen type that can handle the ball, can shoot from the corners if somebody else is handling the ball, and just do a bit of everything. It's a bit of insurance definitely on KK Arnold in case her shot does not return to what it was in her freshman year from outside. It's interesting, the situation that she's coming in at UConn is almost very similar in terms of her fighting for playing time, what she went against at USC, because Samuels at USC was the other backup point guard there who played better defensively, but Heckel had more offense. In some ways, it's the same thing with KK Arnold, who can be more of a menace on defense. But having Heckel at UConn gives Geno just more offense and more shooting that he'll likely be able to put up on the court. Although, that being said, Heckel only shot 28% from three last year. You think that would improve, but to be determined. But looking at her numbers are similar to Caitlin Chen. They both averaged 6 points last year, although it's clear Chen was more efficient, shooting 35% from three and having an effective field goal shooting percentage of 58% versus Heckel, who was only 28% from three, and her effective field goal shooting percentage was only at 50%. But you should keep in mind that Chen got more minutes at 23.5 per game versus Heckel that only got just over 16 minutes per game. If you look at their numbers per 40 minutes, Heckel scores slightly more at 14.4 versus Chen at 11.8. But overall, you can see how Heckel would fit into UConn, as you would think the point would be almost like the shared situation they had with Caitlin Chen and KK Arnold. But in this case, my expectation is it'll be KK Arnold starting and Heckel spelling her. But it's all about competition. That's why you come to UConn. The better player will obviously get the more minutes, and the one that's on the court and has the most impact will ultimately get more minutes than the other. But yeah, I do see them being much like Chen and KK last year. This is the new Heckel and KK versus KK and Chen. Now let's take a look at Heckel's on-off numbers at USC. So their net rating with her on the court was 33.5 points better versus her off the court, which was 25.3. Their offensive rating was better at 112.8 per 100 possession versus 105.9 with her off. Defense was better, just barely better with her on at 79.4 points they would give up per 100 possession versus they would give up slightly more, 80.6 per 100 possessions with her off the court. And all the other numbers are fairly similar. So their effective field goal shooting percentage was better with her on the court at 51%. Offensive rebounding, not surprisingly, was a bit lower at 36%. And turnovers was about equal, and free throw attempts slightly better, but really no big change there. So overall, I think it's pretty clear why UConn brought Heckel in. It's just a good fit. From her high school program that she played in with a lot of different stars and happy to share the ball, her coach seems to say, or her high school coach feels like it's a good fit, and obviously UConn does the research, and then the game that she's bringing should fit UConn. You would expect her shooting to improve. That will be a big key. And the way that her game differs from KK Arnold, I think, is very similar to how Chen and KK Arnold sort of balanced each other last year, and that will continue. And really filled out the final maybe question you might have had about UConn going into the 25-26 season. Now it's over to you. Do you think, like me, this is a home run and will work out well? Your thoughts, your poison, it's all welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day.